Hello everybody, I am here at the rooftop in Avida and I wanted to talk a little bit about how I sold Penthouse 602 in less than 2 business days. What we did was with any listing, you should prepare a comparative market analysis to see what similar properties are selling for in the market. Comparative market analysis, in my opinion, should be using sold properties, not active properties. So when you're looking at sold properties, you're looking at what people have actually paid for similar properties. We did the analysis and the analysis gave us a number for which the apartment should be sold for. And what we decided to do was we decided to list the property at that number and not have room for negotiation. What that means is a lot of sellers, when they know what their market value is for their property, they choose to increase it, put it in a bit of a cushion, and I think for a couple of reasons. One is I think that some sellers say, well, there's going to be a negotiation. I need to have some cushion to be able to negotiate down. And another major reason is I think a lot of sellers say, well, maybe there will be that one buyer who is willing to spend 10-15% over market value for my unit. Okay? Those are both very valid points. But the reality is what ends up happening, the market always rules, right? So what ends up often happening in situations like that is the property will be listed at an inflated price, so 10, 15, 20% over market value. You might, as a realtor, we might end up doing a lot of showings, but we might not get any offers, or we might not get any second showings. And if we do get any offers, there might be lowball offers, which might be rejected. What usually will end up happening in that case is the property will sit on the market for several months, and then the owners of the property will ultimately decide to do a price drop, and they'll probably come close to market value. Or they might choose to accept a low offer compared to their list price and end up selling the property at market value. I understand, I've sold personal properties myself, and I understand the idea of seeing if we can get that one buyer in there. I understand the idea of wanting to have a cushion for negotiation. But I am a big believer in the strategy of putting a property on market value, selling it quickly, and not negotiating. So that's what we did here in this case. We put the property on the market and we had it sold within 2 business days. I can't give out too many more details than that at this point, but yeah, I think we did a really good job. I think that the sellers really did a good job of listening to me as their realtor. I think we did a good job of putting the property at a very good price. And instead of waiting months and months and months, the sellers are going to get closed. From listing to closing will be about 2 months, 2.5 months. Sellers are going to get their money. They're going to be able to move on to their next project, their next investment. We didn't have to deal with months of having the property online and all the back and forth that takes. So, I'm really happy that we were able to make this happen for our sellers. I'm really happy for the buyer that he's going to get this fantastic property, that he was sophisticated enough to jump on such a great opportunity. And I just wanted to share with you today a little bit about the experience of how to properly price a property and what happens when we do. Welcome to 602 at Avida Residences.